Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Masters of Chess. I am Chekas, and in today's video, the Masters of Chess have for you 25 general rules of chess. General rules tend to be true more than 90% of the times. However, there are always exceptions for these rules, and we need to be aware in case those situations arrive. No need to take notes because the whole list will be available in our Facebook page Masters of Chess. So without further ado, here are the 25 general rules of chess. Number 1. King must be safe, castle as soon as possible. If we castle, it's going to be more difficult for our opponent to attack with his pieces, since it will take them more time to go to that side of the board and more effort to open lines. Number 2. Develop your pieces in the opening. In chess, it's very unrealistic that you can win the game with only 1 or 2 pieces against all of your opponent's army. Make sure all of your pieces help each other in the battlefield by developing them. Number 3. Control the center of the board in the opening. Pieces tend to be more powerful in the center than on the edge of the board, because they control more squares, especially knights and bishops. If you have a strong center, it will be more difficult for your opponent to fight for space. Number 4. Connect your rooks. That way they defend each other and the first rank. Also, that means all of your other pieces have been developed. Number 5. Don't move the same piece 2 times in the opening. Moving a piece twice before completing the development of your other pieces will make very difficult your game. Don't get behind in development. Number 6. Don't move the queen too early all over the board. The queen is the most powerful piece and it can be attacked very easily in the opening. Protect your queen. Check this example where white moved the queen too early in the game and was attacked by the black pieces. In the final position, we can see that black has developed 3 pieces and already castled, while white developed only 2 pieces, hasn't castled, and the queen is on the way of the bishop. Number 7. The strengths of a pawn majority are best shown in the endgame. The less pieces on the board, the hardest for the defender to stop the pawns. Here we can see that with all pieces on the board, the advantage for white isn't there. But when we clear the board, it's easier to see that it's not that difficult for white to now create a passed pawn on the king side. Number 8. Avoid creating pawn islands, because lots of pawn islands translate to lots of vulnerable pawn bases. Example, if you have 2 pawn islands, then at least 2 pawns will be behind, and they will be more likely weaknesses. In this position, black has 4 pawn islands, which translates to at least 4 targets for the white pieces. Counting pawn islands is a very important part of the evaluation process of a position. Number 9. Open lines when you want to attack and close them when you are trying to defend. When you are attacking, you normally want more ways to infiltrate your pieces in the enemy lines, and the best way to do it is by opening lines. This is an extreme example, but when you are defending, what you want to do instead is close lines, so your opponent can't infiltrate with his pieces. Number 10. When you are attacking, don't trade pieces. When defending, trade pieces. The less pieces on the board, the more difficult to make an attack. Number 11. Passed pawns are very strong, especially the A and H pawns. Passed pawns cannot be just ignored by your opponent. He will have to spend resources to stop them by creating weaknesses in other parts of the board. The A and H pawns are very difficult to match for some pieces, especially knights. Number 12. Rooks in the 7th rank are super strong. Almost every time you can get your rooks in the 7th rank, you should probably do it, because it's one of the most OP combinations in chess. Number 13. Bishops are better than knights in open positions. When the position is open, there are normally no pawns blocking diagonals. Also, bishops are faster than knights, so they can do more things on an open field. Look at this position. The knight has to make 4 moves to attack one of the pawns on the other side of the board, while the bishop can attack it in the very next move. Knights are better than bishops in close positions. Conversely, knights can easily maneuver in close positions because they can jump pieces. Number 14. King's activity in the endgame is super important. Since the chances of getting checkmated in the endgame are very low, it's very important that the king changes his position to an attacking piece. Look at the difference between these two kings. White king is ready to help his other pieces attacking the pawn, while the black king is stuck on the edge of the board. Number 15. Knights are the best blockaders. Low-cost piece that cannot be threatened so easily, and when it blockades the pawn doesn't lose its mobility? What else do you want? The queen is the worst blockader. The exact opposite of the knight. Most valuable piece that has to move when it's attacked and loses mobility when blockading. Number 16. Position your rooks to control open and semi-open files. Controlling an open file with your rooks gives you more space and more options to infiltrate your pieces on enemy lines. Number 17. Knights on the rim are grim. No question that knights lose a lot of their potential when they are on the edge of the board, since they cannot control as many squares as if they were in the center of the board. Number 18. Try to avoid double pawns. Double pawns are usually weak since they cannot protect each other. Number 19. Avoid moving your castle pawns. Your pawns that are right in front of your castle are the best defenders of the king. Don't move them unless it's really necessary. Number 20. Avoid back pawns. Back pawns are usually positional weaknesses or targets for our opponent. Be careful. Number 21. Your rooks should attack or defend pawns from behind. There are a few reasons why this is almost always true. Let's see the next example. The rook attacks the pawns from behind, and there is a point where there is nothing else that the pawns can do to defend each other. But if the rook attacks from the front, sometimes the pawn will take squares that the rook needs to keep attacking the pawns. Number 22. Put your pawns on the opposite color of the bishops. In bishops endgames, it's better to put the pawns on the opposite color of the bishops, so your opponent cannot attack your pawns. Number 23. Opposite color bishop endgames are most likely draw, but in the middle game is double-edged. In the endgame, the pawns will have a difficult time advancing, since there is always going to be weaknesses in the light or dark squares. It depends on the bishop your opponents have. In the middle game, however, both players will be weak on the squares of the opposite bishop, because they will always have one less piece to protect those squares. Number 24. If you have a choice to capture a piece with a pawn, capture towards the center. The pawns do a great job at gaining space. If you put your pawns towards the center, you will gain space in the center. Number 25. Centralize your queen in the endgame. The queen really shines in the endgame, since most of the pieces have left the board. She can control the board if it's centralized. It can both defend and attack easily. And those were the 25 general rules of chess. I hope you learned something from today's video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.